That's good.
Okay, I think we're ready to go.
Okay. So, should we introduce Mr. Newhouse?
Please do.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are very privileged to be interviewing Mr. Stephen Newhouse. And can you tell us what year were you born?
I can tell you that I was born February 19th, 1944.
Okay. You and I are very close. I was born in 42.
Oh,
So where were you born?
I was born in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. That's,
My father was a chemical engineer who had taken an assignment with American cyanides during the war.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
And I think they were producing war material. And so I was born originally, my family was from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And eventually we went back there, and then ultimately I came here for Caterpillar.
That's great. That's what people keep asking me when I came, is that, yeah, yeah. So were you born in a hospital, home, somewhere else?
I was born in a hospital,
Okay.
and I don't remember which one. We only lived there I only lived there about 6 months, and then the end of the war came. My dad took another job, and we moved. There were some serious explosions at American Cyanamid. They were working on explosives in the war. My dad was burned in one of them, and
Oh, my.
went back not badly, went back as a rescue worker to help take people out that had been injured. And my mother said, "That's it."
Not gonna do this anymore.
And so they moved back to Ohio, and I finished growing up in Ohio, and then wound up taking a job at Caterpillar after I got out of grad school.
Very good.
Came here.
Very good. So were you married when you came here?
I was.
Okay. Did you meet your wife in
I met my
college?
wife in Columbus. I was out of school working for a period of time. I met her while I was working, and we wound up getting married. I went back to school, and she worked, and I worked, and went to school, and wound up with 2 kids, and came here. And when we came here, we had two daughters.
How old were they then?
They were 9 and 3, I
Oh,
believe. And in
good.
those days, Morton was, newcomers to Morton was a little bit of a slow process.
Yeah.
And so it took them a little while to get in, and not so much the younger one, but my 9-year-old.
Yeah.
But she ultimately fit in, made a great group of friends, and they all went off to college, some the same ones, some somewhat others, and
Great.
it has kept many friends from Morton through now, in their 50s.
And what did you do at Caterpillar?
When I came here, I had responsibility. I was in the public affairs department. I had responsibility for press relations. I had national and international press.
Wow.
But a good portion of my career, most of my career, was marketing and marketing related.
Good.
And I spent one period. We lived in Morton from '77 when we moved here. I had 3 years in with CAP in Ohio. Came here in '77, '96 I transferred to a job in the UK. Lived in England from late '96 to 2000, and during the time we were gone, we kept a condo here where our younger daughter lived, and she had started working for CAT after college. And we stayed there when we came back, and then we moved back home in 2000 and came back to Morton.
That's
And
great.
this has become home for us.
I know a lot of folks from Caterpillar went to the UK for one reason or another. Where were you located in the UK?
We lived halfway between Durham City, where the cathedral is, one of the
Okay.
great cathedrals of the world, and Newcastle, a place called Chesterley Street.
You are tied to Newcastle. It's
Yeah,
all
I
over.
am. And people used to ask me where I was from, and I'd say Newcastle, and they'd say, "Well, you've lost your accent." And so, well, it's wrong, Newcastle.
Yeah.
But Morton became home for us,
Sure.
and we've been tied to it ever since. My wife is very closely tied to Morton. We like the quality of life here.
Oh, yeah.
We talked with Gordon and Jean Ann and others in conversations. But there's something unique about Morton. There's the type of person who comes to Morton has some special quality. Honest, forthright people with solid values And those are things that we treasure, and it's always for us been to make the difference in living in Morton and living somewhere else.
That's great. So did you stay in the condo, or did your daughter stay in the condo, or did you buy a house after you got back?
When we got back, we bought a house. We kind of boxed the compass. We started out when we came, lived on Oregon, right at the corner of Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
And then we bought a house in Waldheim.
Okay.
We were in Waldheim till we moved to the UK, and we had the condo was in Prairie Village, and we just used it. Mostly it was for our daughter's benefit. We used
Sure.
that when we came back, and then when we came back, she was ready to get married. We sold the condo and we bought a house on St. Mark's Circle. So now we're on the south end, in an area that I helped approve when I was on the Plan Commission
Oh, how
back
fun.
in the 80s or 90s.
That's
If you'd have asked me 20 years ago, or well, I shouldn't say
Yeah.
20 years ago, but 30 years ago, if I ever thought I would live there, I was absolutely not. There wasn't anything there.
That's
You remember?
right. I do remember.
We basically stopped at Idlewood. and
Yeah.
Even Idlewood at that
Yeah.
time was brand new.
Yeah, I'm not sure Oregon was there when I got here, but it was.
Oregon
neat.
was.
Was it
on,
then?
On the south side of Jackson.
Ah, yes.
On the north side of Jackson, it was not
Wasn't.
there. You are
I
correct.
do remember
Yeah.
that going in. Oh, that's good. What did you miss in England about Morton when you were there?
I think that partly the ease of getting things done. Um, the close environment you have with your friends and neighbors here, and you know everybody, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, your banker, your doctor, your lawyer.
Exactly.
And of course that was not the case. You didn't necessarily need all of those people in the UK, but it wasn't the same way. And of course it was a different sized town, about 50,000, and so it felt different. It was a great experience, one of the great experiences of our lives, and we loved every minute of it, but it's not the same as being home. So while we were thrilled to be there and had a wonderful time, great experience, we were gratified to come back, and by that time we had a grandchild on the way, and it was just very appropriate to move back. And we were the